So Nick, for you, I'd like to ask you the following. So you work in Docker code and developer communication. How do you define authorship when contributions come from both humans and machines? Should we rethink attribution in collaborative human writing workflows?
Well, that's actually a fairly easy question to answer in Dox's code environment, because actually the authorship is not really so very important from our perspective, because it's a collaborative authoring model. So whether the collaboration is coming from tooling, and we use a lot of tooling, or if it's coming from other human beings or the writer who has ownership over the document, doesn't matter really in the end. We have a general principle of follow the guidelines of our security organization, but otherwise use it for whatever you feel is to be useful.
But if it is a machine, is it the same?
No.
Oh, okay.
It has, sometimes it does brilliant, sometimes it does terrible, right? Is that, I know that this will be a topic of conversation later, I believe, but I was hosting a talk by the content wrangler, Scott Abel, for a conference for TechCon. And he's strongly of the opinion, or at least was at the time, that prompt engineering is going to be a sub-discipline in our field. And those will be the people who will be driving the field in future.
Another question I have for you all at the end.
Yeah, exactly. But so, but for me, right, is that I work very closely with software. I only work with software products. That particular branch of industry, I think, has been an aggressive adopter of these technologies. You can see it actually. I was talking with an instructor. You can see it with the difficulties people finishing their education are having getting those entry-level jobs, because it's quite clear in the software industry, I'm talking about programming, that the tasks that a junior developer would have done in past is now being handed off into the AI. Again, cost pressures you were talking about, right? Obviously. Is that I think that it's just part of life. You sort of just put it into your portfolio of things that you interact with. But as you say, it's actually rather surprising how little writing you do when you're a technical writer. There's so many other things you need to do that add value to the company that pays your paycheck, right? Is that the way I see it? Is it, this is, well, I have a good colleague of mine who says, at the end of the week, make a list of the 10 things you did that annoy you and see which ones you can automate. Anastasia, by the way, is that I think this is a way for you to offload tasks that really don't take much effort from you, and to have you go up the value chain for the company that you're working with. Is that so? Yeah, so that, as I say, it's authorship I'm not so worried about, because, when I was earlier in my career, I probably published hundreds of thousands of pages of stuff. My name's on none of it. Is that if you think about ownership, well, then the writers in my team and writers I know in other companies, well, they own the document. They're responsible for issuing it, responsible for following up how it's being perceived. These tools certainly help with examples and providing code to our developer customers. Yeah, no, it's just an unalloyed good, but I do have some caveats. But those are for later.